Detroit, you hear that name and you think cars, right? Motown, muscle cars, the Motor City, it's in the city's DNA. But under that steel and chrome, there's a whole lot of history. Detroit's been through booms and busts, good times and tough times, but through it all, the city's kept its spirit, that never-give-up attitude. And part of that story is written in the buildings, the places where people lived, worked and dreamed, places like the Charles Trowbridge House, which stands as the oldest building in Detroit. Now, I'm a work boots and tool belt kind of guy. Give me a job with calloused hands and a little honest sweat any day. But even I gotta admit, there's something special about old buildings. They've seen it all, the good, the bad, and everything in between. They're like time capsules holding on to stories from another era. And the Charles Trowbridge House, well, that place has got stories for days. Picture this, 1826. Detroit's still a frontier town, but it's on the rise, and standing tall on a piece of land overlooking the Detroit River, you've got the Charles Trowbridge House. Built with good old-fashioned brick, this place was meant to last. It was designed in the Federal style, which was all the rage back then. Simple, elegant, no nonsense, just like the people who built it. The house has these big, beautiful windows that let the light pour in. And inside, high ceilings, ornate fireplaces, and a grand staircase that just screams history. You can practically hear the echoes of fancy parties and important meetings in those rooms. This wasn't just a house, it was a statement. It said, Detroit's here to stay, and we're building it right. Charles Trowbridge, the man himself, was a big deal in Detroit. He was a businessman and politician. He was an ethnographer of Native American cultures, and he also served as mayor of Detroit in 1834. He built this house in 1826 for $2,500, and he lived for 56 years until his death. The house remained in his family for generations until 1942 when it was sold. Each family that lived there added their own chapter to its story. There's a story about a secret room in the house used to hide runaway slaves on the Underground Railroad. Now, I haven't personally crawled through the walls looking for it, but it's a reminder that even in a fancy house, history has a way of sneaking in. Today, the house still stands. So, what about the Trowbridge House now? Well, like a lot of old buildings, it needed some love. Years of wear and tear take their toll. But thankfully, some folks recognize that this house, it's more than just bricks and mortar. It's a piece of Detroit's soul. They put in the hard work, the sweat equity to restore it, and today the Charles Trowbridge House stands as a museum. It's a place where you can step back in time and get a glimpse of what Detroit was like back in the day. It's a reminder that even in a city that's always reinventing itself, it's important to remember where you came from. And that's a lesson worth holding on to no matter where you hang your hard hat.